Hey everybody, thought I'd do a video update um, where I'm at. So there's always so much that happens to me between each video um, because I have a daily practice and I'm pretty committed. So I think a few things. What I've realized is, before I was very isolated. I was very isolated. And I'm still opening up to that isolation, breaking it open. And when I was that way, I was the authority of everything. It really was, for those that know me. And in that, there was a lot of confidence and certainty and, you know, um, distance. There's a lot of stuff, right? But I felt pretty in control, I guess is a really good way to put it. So then now that I'm going out of my comfort zone, I'm opening up, meditation, tantra, this whole process. And I'm breaking out of that isolation and I'm connecting with people. I'm connecting with people. And I see that there are a lot more answers than just what I thought was always the answer. And this has been revealing itself to me, slowly. But so now I feel like I'm in a transitionary period where I've broken free of a lot of the isolation, but there's still, I'm still clinging to the old me in certain ways. In other ways, I'm a lot different, a lot more open, a lot more connected. And Tantra is definitely um, one of the major reasons for that, going down this path of Tantra. Um, but because I'm there, I don't feel. I realize I'm like, oh, I don't feel certain anymore. Like I have all this fear about hurting people, about saying the right thing, about being an authority on something, or being an expert on what I already know. Because I do know a lot. I've experienced a lot in my life, and I've triumphed over a lot. Even before this, like I've always been someone who has been able to get out of situations that I put myself into. There's a lot of growth in that. Um, so yeah, so it was really interesting. Like I first I thought it was, and maybe this is part of the reason is that I'm completely sober for the first time in my life or adulthood. For more than a couple months. Like I stopped smoking weed. I stopped doing a lot of stuff gradually. But stop smoking weed was a pretty big one for me, and I did it because I didn't want to avoid myself anymore. Um, so I thought maybe it's that. Maybe that's why I feel so lost or uncertain. But I think it really just comes down to that, like I'm connected to people, but I'm still distant, right? I'm still, maybe it's codependence. Maybe I'm worried too much about how other people feel because I can notice a lot. Um, so yeah, it's a really weird place. I feel really uncertain about me, about being me, being what I said I was going to do, which is to be a tantra teacher. even it's hard for me to talk about it with people. People ask me, I meet somebody, they ask me what I do, what I'm trying to do, and I just feel the freeze. Um, so I think part of it also is I'm like discovering all the different layers of shame in me, right? So this is very tantric, like you're just expanding. Um, and it takes a lot to be in the present moment. You have to go through a lot to get there. And the more you're able to come here in the present moment, then things are going to start shifting and you start changing, which I, I, I feel, I believe. I know it's exactly what's going on. So I didn't really see what was going on, that I felt so uncertain about me. And then I was reading a book by Wilhelm Reich. It was just the introduction, man. This guy was a very beautiful man, and also very strong-minded, strong-willed. Really believed in the individuality of people and curing the eons, or the massive amount of repressed sexual repression in us. And yeah, it opened up a lot for me, and I realized, like, oh, I have a lot of shame about helping people heal from sexual trauma and their repressed sexuality and things like that. Like, I don't have a problem actually doing it, but getting to that place to do it is really hard. There's a lot of resistance, a lot of uncertainty. Like, I just don't feel um, confident in talking to people about it. I don't know. I was like, what? The guy who was always the authority on everything suddenly is afraid to talk. So it was a pretty big revelation. So now that I'm aware of it, I'm going to push myself to talk to people about it, to get over whatever that fear or resistance is. Because I do believe that every single person on this earth uh, has some sort of sexual, repression, problems, inability to really just feel good about themselves. If you're not 100% about how you feel about yourself, well, then it's going to show up in your sex, or lack of, or your inability to feel pleasure, or all kinds of things, and so yeah, I'm making a stand for myself and for everyone else, is what I realized. It feels good. Like, I have this voice in my head. It's like, oh, you don't have a college degree or this or that, because I look at these other coaches, uh, they have like degrees and things like that. Um, but then, I realize what I do have that maybe others don't is uh, I've broken through a lot. It's personal experience and triumph. So that's where I'm at. um, just opening up to my genuine self. Appreciate you watching. If you know anyone who would be willing to donate or hire me or needs help, hit me up.